¿Qué tal? Empiezo ya, ¿no? Bueno, buenos días. Muchas gracias por estar todos aquí. Yo soy Manuel Ramírez, voy a ser el moderador de esta charla con John. No sé si somos conscientes de la tremenda suerte que tenemos pudiendo contar con una persona como él aquí. Os voy a poner un poco en antecedentes de quién es él. John nació en el 65 en el estado de Nueva York. Y ya desde adolescente tenía una gran pasión por la fotografía y por directores como Stanley Kubrick o Ridley Scott. Él estudió producción de cinematografía en la Universidad de Nueva York y finalmente se graduó en Bellas Artes con honores. Eso deja ver un poco la calidad técnica que tiene esta persona. Desde sus primeros inicios, él siempre optó y abogó por la experimentación mezclada con las técnicas más tradicionales. Me gustaría dar paso a John, porque creo que deberéis conocerle ya. Así que, John, por favor, si puedes pasar. ¿Qué tal? Bueno, vamos a hablar con traducción simultánea. Yo es la primera vez que lo hago. No sé cuánto tiempo tengo que esperar entre que yo te pregunto, tú me respondes. Entonces nos vamos a ir adaptando, ¿vale? Por si ves que la comunicación es un poco lenta al principio. Para mí es un placer, a nivel personal, tenerte aquí. Uno de los principales motivos por los que yo me dedico a los efectos visuales es Matrix. Yo sé que tu carrera va mucho más allá de esa película y que eres más de simplemente la persona que inventó el bullet time. Y quiero que todos lo podamos descubrir hoy, porque a mí me ha sorprendido la cantidad de cosas en las que has estado involucrado y que desconocía. No es un panel muy largo, son 45 minutos. Hay muchas cosas de las que hablar. Vamos a dividir la charla en 3 bloques. Vamos a hablar del pasado, de dónde viene, qué es lo que ha hecho, del presente, qué es lo que está haciendo hasta ahora mismo. Sé que hay una sorpresa también, que ya os contaremos, y del futuro, ¿vale? Que aún siendo incierto, pues siempre podemos hacer especulaciones sobre lo que está por venir. Hablaremos de la IA, que sé que todo el mundo lo está esperando probablemente. Y bueno, pues vamos a empezar con ello. El presente. John, yo sé que eres mucho más que la persona detrás del Bullet Time. Sé que cofundaste el ILM Lab con un compañero, has supervisado más películas, has trabajado como director creativo. Me gustaría que compartieras con la audiencia dónde empezó tu carrera y cómo.
Well, first of all, thank you, everybody, for coming. It's pretty phenomenal to get to experience this together, this first Comic-Con. There's only one first time, so here we are. We're here for the first time. Let's do this. So where did I begin? I began before my career, I went to film school in New York City, NYU. I learned as much from living in the city as I did going to film school. As I started to think about what really I wanted to dedicate myself to, where I felt passion, it was in what it felt like was cinema, but more than cinema, more expressive cinema. I was very interested in art. I was seeing a lot of art in New York City, and my favorite classes when I was at NYU, tended to be experimental, and I studied that and tried to practice that back then.
Muy bien. Siguiente pregunta. Volvemos a Matrix, aunque haya dicho que has hecho muchas más cosas que Matrix, pero ¿por qué crees que Matrix ha envejecido tan bien y sigue siendo relevante a día de hoy? O sea, parece que es una historia que se ha quedado congelada en el tiempo y que tiene sentido, incluso aunque es una película que ya va camino de tener casi 30 años y sigue siendo actual como ninguna otra.
Well, it is relevant. A lot of science fiction writing and movies, comic books that involve science fiction ideas, futurism ideas. It seems that time allows humankind to catch up to the science fiction, and it's been a century even of writing and filmmaking that seemed for us as we experienced these books, these films, to be almost impossible and fantastical. Well, I guess nobody would have ever guessed that what would happen would be eventually brilliant engineers would start looking at movies and things that they read in books as almost as instructions, as they tried to understand, what to focus their own craft onto, what they building blocks that they wanted to invent. And so over time, we see some of these ideas in movies actually become objectives of the tech world. So then it brings us back to, well, why is Matrix relevant? Well, I think there are quite a few ideas in the Matrix, concepts and cautionary tales in the Matrix that are really important to stay on top of today. Loss of understanding of reality being on top of many. The power of the individual to overcome what could feel like a imprisonment within this false reality. The potential of majestic creations of AI, and also the potential of destructive and malice of AI, all these things inside of the Matrix, and very relevant today.
Yeah. Sí, es que es verdad que quizá lo que más miedo da de Matrix es que parece que está dejando de ser una película y se está convirtiendo en un documental. Eso yo creo que es algo que choca. Morfeo, hay un momento en la película que dice que it surrounds us, like the Matrix is surrounding us. ¿Qué crees que quería decir con eso?
I think I caught it. Intermittent. Right, the Matrix surrounds us. He does. Morpheus talks about that. So the Matrix wasn't a movie. The Matrix wasn't a video game. The Matrix wasn't just being inside goggles or being jacked in. It really was a feeling, a feeling by a human being that they were living a life of a kind, and they had no reason to believe that the life they were living was untrue.
Okay.
So I'm not going to suggest any kind of conspiracy that our lives are simulation, but it is fascinating to think about, and it is undoubtable that there are things happening in the tech world and in the labs of media in the tech world that would make it believable and plausible that you could create a simulation so perfect. Now, there's many things missing from what's doable today. I mean, compared to those days with the Matrix, it's remarkable, but a good portion of the world has been digitized at this point, and there are ways of simulating events and people and representing cities and all sorts of things in these simulations. They're all being done today. What isn't really as similar to the Matrix yet, but coming is what about people inside simulations? Well, I guess you could say people who are participating in massive online games, like Fortnite or Roblox or, games of that scale. I mean, they are, in a sense, inside of a metaverse of a kind. They are socializing, and mostly with other people who are present as avatars, but we're about to enter a next generation where as many, if not multiples more, individuals present will not even be human, they'll be AI. So these things are going on in gaming now. So if you were like to think about, oh, golly, Matrix, that science fiction movie, that's not really possible, but if you think about it, 10 years ago, we didn't have massive online games of the kind we have today.
That's true.
We weren't even, 20 years ago, it was not possible to create volumetric cinema like we were creating. You just think in a short 10-year hop, 20-year hop, absolutely we will have flawless simulation that millions of people can be inside, for good or for bad.
It is true that there are... es verdad que hay teorías, no solo conspirativas, de que vivimos en una simulación. O sea, que sí que es probable. Yo creo que no podemos demostrar que no es así. Eso es curioso. Bueno, seguimos con... última pregunta de Matrix por hoy, te lo prometo. ¿Es verdad que las letras que caen, el icónico efecto de Matrix con el texto, el código cayendo, es una receta de sushi?
No.
No?
No, but obviously we loved Japanese calligraphy, and we always imagined that this idea of rivers of code, the metaphor, was a beautiful thing, and so we just really, it's an homage to Japanese aesthetics, and but what I would also say is, yes, there's many messages in it, and I would encourage people to spend countless hundreds of hours trying to figure it out.
¿Y conoces alguno de esos mensajes que nos puedas compartir? ¿O algún secreto de esas letras, de qué dicen? ¿O no? ¿O son simplemente caracteres?
No.
No. Siguiente pregunta. Bueno, como hemos dicho, Matrix fue solo el principio. Has estado involucrado en cine experimental durante más de 20 años. Al margen de Matrix, ¿podrías compartir con nosotros un poco cuáles han sido tus milestones, tus hitos a lo largo de tu carrera hasta el día de hoy?
Sure, I will try to encapsulate it. What was great about The Matrix is it began a journey, I would say. Many people were inspired by those films, people from all walks of life, not just entertainment people, but people who did many different kinds of things that identified with things, ideas inside of The Matrix, and that really opened up an incredible avenue for me, a road for me. I spent some more years with the Wachowskis, specifically making more movies like Speed Racer, amongst others, but a lot of my colleagues felt that there was a lot more than cinema to pursue. They and I started thinking, oh, well, what about, when you make a universe in a movie, well, eventually it comes to an end, the curtains close, and the universe doesn't go on. Well, many decided what they really wanted to do is work on persistent worlds and worlds that never ended, basically. Many went into pretty hardcore AAA gaming research labs. Some went into Silicon Valley media labs. And I was really intrigued by this migration myself. So I started to experiment with all sorts of things. Yeah, real-time cinema was a holographic cinema, real-time interactive experiences, immersive experiences. I spent years developing mixed reality and virtual reality prototypes, in particular at Lucasfilm, the home of Star Wars. We built a lab unlike any, in my opinion, that could produce cinematic level, real-time interactive experiences using the world of Star Wars and characters in Star Wars. We did a lot of experimentation where we not just created procedural mechanics, with game characters. We'd actually have live actor-driven characters inside of immersive experiences that real people could have direct interaction with. We did that also at a company I joined following Lucasfilm called Magic Leap, which is one of the leading edge companies at the time for mixed reality glasses. Today, you will mostly see that competition of those kinds of glasses with companies like Microsoft or Meta or Google right there. They're the ones that have kind of pushed it further. But again, we did many experiments blending the real world with living graphical content of all kinds and also social interactive experiences.
Muy bien. Y si tuvieses que elegir un proyecto de tu carrera, ¿cuál sería el que más del pasado, no del presente con lo que estás haciendo ahora? ¿Cuál elegirías? ¿Cuál sería el que más has disfrutado?
None, no, all.
All of them.
Yeah, no, yeah. I have been blessed. Every stage of my career has introduced me to something I never knew before, people I have never worked with before, technologies I've never imagined, and has allowed me to grow. So this is now we're at escape here.
We're in the present right now.
Now we're in the present.
Okay. So, vamos a pasar al presente. Después de unas cuantas conversaciones contigo, me gusta mucho la visión que tú tienes de la IA, porque ahora mismo es un terreno muy gris, donde no está muy claro qué es lo que va a pasar, qué es lo que está pasando, no solamente en el mundo de los efectos visuales, sino que creo que es across the board, en cualquier sitio. Has fundado una plataforma muy innovadora, que es esta que estamos viendo aquí detrás, que se llama Escape AI. ¿Qué nos puedes contar de ella? ¿En qué consiste?
For sure. So, just to kind of reverse back a tiny bit, a few years, but after movies, I got involved with immersive and real-time entertainment. I had a lot of friends who, for example, work and create new things at Epic Games. I learned a lot about the possibilities, the incredible possibilities of massive multi-player experiences, gaming or otherwise. But then one thing that I realized after my time with Epic was that none of the characters there were aware, and so we also wanted to start pushing into AI characters, AI NPCs. I also was hoping at the time that Epic would create a new hub because they had activated a brilliant, beautiful, large new creator class by giving the Unreal Engine to all of us. And I was hoping that this new creator class and that company would create a focal point for emergent and radical new media that was being made with game engines. And while I don't think they have decided to focus on that as much as, let's say, incubating a thing called UEFN, I realized there was a true need for a platform that could present new voices doing really experimental and innovative things. And so for a lot of creators, there are a couple of paths these days. One could be, if you really aspire to get to be state-of-the-art, you might have this career journey that takes years and years of effort to get to a place like a Netflix or an HBO or Disney or things like this. But this is the most difficult mountain to climb. It takes the best of the best, years and years, and usually by the time you get to the top of the mountain, especially if you've written and created a whole universe, and here you are trying to make a movie, a TV show, what have you, you get there, and basically at that point, you may get to do what, if you're lucky, right? If you're like in the top 2%, you may get to make this, but often there'll be a lot of cost to that, right? In order to get $100–200 million to make a show or a movie, you basically will give over your right to the universe you wrote, right? That'll go, and now, like losing a child, it will now go into the studio like an orphanage, and you will then you'll be subject to what the studio decides, and these distribution channels decide, you know, what will happen to that child you created, that universe. So, but it is prestigious and it is exquisite and beautiful to get things there if you can get there. So most people don't get there, but some people do. They walk hot coals to get there. Mm-hmm. The other side is that creators, you know, could choose to go into a massive social media platform like an Instagram or a YouTube. Anyone can do it. It's self-serve, and that is liberating. But it's difficult to be found in a sea of media, billions and billions of pieces of media, many, many people. And in that case, instead of bending to the will of gatekeepers like you will in these big streamers, you will bend to an algorithm to determine whether you will be found or surface. And even if you do all the right things to be found and discovered on a massive social media platform, you are often adjacent to a lot of irrelevant things, noise, and even distracting things that are uncomplimentary to the work you may have done. So it's so these are two difficult paths to take to find an audience and be original. So long story short, I wanted to try to design a new entertainment platform that felt familiar, like a prestigious streamer, like an HBO, but was really open-minded to innovation and experimental movie making, and we'll soon also be introducing games and interactive. So I made this thing called Escape.ai with a bunch of colleagues, and we created this veneer that felt like a Netflix, but really it's got the most, in my opinion, it's got the most leading-edge experimental storytelling. A lot of content on Escape.ai, I will tell you, is at the moment being made with Gen AI tools and technology. But we don't talk about that because it doesn't really matter to audiences. Yeah. They don't care what tools filmmakers use, but they do care about the story, the concepts, and all sorts of other values. So it's an emerging platform, and it's escape.ai. You can go on the internet and you can see the cutting edge of new cinema, which we call neo-cinema.
Neo-cinema, that's where I was going. So that's what you call neo-cinema, this new way of...
Neo-cinema is new cinema made with emergent technologies. Mm-hmm. You could imagine the term neo-cinema being 100 years old, you know, from art movements of a century ago. But it is still a good term, new cinema. And, you know, if you're using, Gen AI, but if you're using game engines, if you're doing experimental capture, if you're doing anything to create cinema, I would even suggest even post-photographic, right, would be a common theme that I see. Things look photographic, but they're not. All those things are umbrellaed under neo-cinema.
Okay. Well, como ya he dicho, me gusta mucho tu visión positiva y optimista de la IA y piensas en un futuro mucho más esperanzador de lo que opina mucha gente en cuanto a la IA. Para alguien que se quiera dedicar al cine o a los efectos visuales, ¿qué consejo le darías a día de hoy?
That's a good question. Well, I am optimistic for a few reasons, because it has only become more difficult for creators to get exposed, get their works made. It's very, very expensive to make, you know, big films and TV shows. Also, it's very expensive to just make documentaries. It's complicated, and there is a lot of constraints that have prevented many, many people, I'd say could be millions of people in the world, that really actually have the intellect and the instinct to tell stories that other people really want to hear or create experiences. And they've been prevented from doing this because these gatekeepers and the expense of these tools and the complexity of making things has really kept a lot of people out on the sidelines. The reason why I have optimism is because, probably unbeknownst to most of the audience, the cost of creating remarkable
Content and
works, videos, things that look like Marvel movies, the cost of these things is plummeting.
Yeah.
It's plummeting. Because Gen AI has, for good or for bad, been able to create and simulate the most complicated of movie making you can imagine. And it has put this capability into the hands of every person in the world. Any person in this audience could make a work of art movie today with tools that have emerged in the last year and a half, 2 years. For this reason, and at a cost that makes it so that one person could make this work of art. So this is an inflection point that we have not seen anything like this, right?
No, not like this. That's true.
The ease of creation has skyrocketed while the cost of creation has plummeted. So what does this do? This creates opportunity for everybody, and it allows people, no matter where they sit, you could be sitting in, the North Pole, and you could be actually creating content that is worthy of audiences right now.
Yeah, tienes mucha razón. O sea, yo estoy viendo cómo sabes que dirijo un estudio de efectos visuales y en los últimos años, desde la huelga, se está viendo claramente un cambio de paradigma en cuanto a cuánto se invierte en grandes producciones, tanto en número como en presupuesto. Pero bueno, eso es una conversación, sería otro panel distinto. Me gustaría que siguiéramos con algo en lo que estás trabajando ahora. Sé también que has traído una sorpresa para la audiencia, algo que nadie ha visto y que se va a estrenar aquí por primera vez. Es un corto, se llama Metrópolis, y me gustaría que nos contaras un poco de él, o prefieres que lo veamos y luego nos comentas.
I'll tell you a few things. So yes, I've been very busy the last year and a half on this platform called Escape.ai, but and that mostly has been a project to help enable many people, many creators. So it's not my personal work necessarily. But of course, I love filmmaking and world building too. So I have a project called Metropolis that I developed with a friend and colleague from Lucasfilm. When we used to both work at Lucasfilm, we worked there while the last 4 or 5 Star Wars movies were made, and same too also with games and theme parks and all this stuff. So my colleague's name is Kiri Hart. And she's a brilliant person and a great friend. And so together we had this side project, Metropolis, and we have focused on this world that was not the Fritz Lang world, but around that same time period in the 40s, there was another version of Metropolis that was created by Osamu Tezuka, he's considered the godfather of manga. He would be like, if you were in Japan, you'd be like, oh, that's like our Walt Disney, Tezuka, and he created Astro Boy, and he created a lot of remarkable first-of-kind science fiction comics, manga. And so Kiri and I decided that we would like to modernize this world, bring it into the 21st century. So we've embarked on developing this universe, and so we intend to make many serialized stories. We intend to make immersive and interactive experiences. And this little film that I brought to you, no one has seen. We had a friend and colleague, a brilliant director named Ace Alter. He is a young man. He is extremely talented. He is a master of craft in Gen AI filmmaking. And this is the person that we asked to do a little world-building movie for us. So this is this film.
Ok, bueno, creo que todos tenemos unas ganas tremendas de verlo. Una pregunta, ¿pueden grabar vídeos, hacer fotos de lo que enseñemos o es algo...?
It's allowed.
It's allowed, ok.
If you talk about it positively.
Bueno, ya lo habéis oído. Pues por favor, si podemos poner Metrópolis.
Everything is driven by an unseen force, a current that runs through all that exists. Consciousness. Like time, like gravity, it is fundamental to this universe. We see it in roots that grow towards the sound of water, in bumblebees that play not for purpose, but for pleasure, in crows that mourn. Everything is experiencing this reality not like us, but with us. So, why do we deny consciousness to our own creations? If these beings cannot be conscious because they are constructed, what of us? We too are built by cells, by time. You accuse machines of imitation, but imitation is your foundation. They chant the exact words you spew. Our brains are trained on inputs from our environment. What are we, if not circuitry of another kind? Billions of neurons firing in elegant loops. Our memories stored in synapses. Love, happiness, anger, sparked by chemistry. You call them artificial because their wires are visible. But our wires run beneath skin and bone. We are special, but we can't mistake unique for superior. We don't know what the machines may become, but we must treat them with respect. What we choose today becomes instinct tomorrow. So we must lead, not with fear, but with dignity. For the ones watching, for our children, for this metropolis.
Outstanding. Bueno, es impresionante que solamente un equipo tan pequeño pueda hacer algo como esto. ¿Cuánto han tardado en...?
That particular work took a few months.
Months.
Yeah, and it was a lot of work. But as you can see, that is the power of that's the power of what one person, two people can do.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You can make that, but I mean, I'm not saying that it is a simple endeavor. The thing to remember about Gen AI is that it's meaningless, just like computers and computer graphics are meaningless, cameras are meaningless, and paintbrushes are meaningless without the human author. And there will be things, that are going to be made and are going to fill the internet that are meaningless, right? Noise. We're about to be hit by a tsunami of noise and a reality distortion machine and all those things, and we need to take care to not get caught and surrounded by it. But there are going to be, as there always has been, remarkable human-made works, even if they use AI. So human AI and AI working together. But
so you always need a human.
The human author is the only pathway to resonating with the human receiver, the human audience.
So, o sea, era una de las preguntas también que tenía. ¿Cuál crees que va a ser siempre la aportación del ser humano a la IA? O sea, ¿la IA va a funcionar de manera independiente alguna vez o siempre va a necesitar, o vamos a querer nosotros como humanos que haya un humano detrás de la IA?
Every way is going to be the way. Everything, it's just like it's impossible to know how technology is going to change society and how society is going to shape and control and manage technology. But there is no doubt that there is going to be, whether we like it or not, I mean, it is a true double-edged sword, right? That there will be, well, I know there's kids here, so I'll try to be gentle about it. There'll be like scary, destructive things to be on top, to stay on top of as human beings, how to manage and control this. But there will also be remarkable solutions that we thought could never come before, things that could solve problems that have plagued humanity. Those things will also come, and it's really about how human authors channel this stuff towards the light side, not the dark.
Yeah, that's right. So being conscious of time, because we are running out of it, vamos a saltar al futuro, que es incierto por definición, pero creo que podemos intentar hacer predicciones. ¿Cómo crees que va a estar la industria dentro de 5, 10, 20 años?
It cut out. Could you tell me?
Cut out, yeah. How do you imagine the world of the industry in 5, 10, 20
Okay,
years?
well, you use the word industry.
The industry, yeah. Well, the society itself.
Okay, well, that's different.
Yeah,
so
it's different.
I think
it's connected. So.
I think that entertainment industry, if we're talking about that, is in for radical disruption, big disruption.
Yeah.
And I think that we will see every time a new paradigm, a new technology comes that is allowed filmmaking or media to be done in a more efficient way, less expensive way, it has upended the last paradigm of media making. And I think that what could happen, and this partly may be, so what I think could happen is society may go this way and start creating, whether the entertainment complex wants to come along or not. So I do think there's revolt and revolution possible, and I think there's going to be a lot of disruption to industry, not just entertainment, all industry, and there will be good things and bad things from that.
Yeah, like always. So.
Yeah, there will be some real pain in transition for most of us, many of us, but at the same time, there's opportunity unlike any that's ever happened before. So if you talk about 5, 10, 25, if you talk about 5, 10,
that's 25
years. Look, 5 years is about disruption and destruction and the sort of rebuilding of new outlets for creative expression. They're happening at the same time, destruction and the building of new opportunity and outlets. So I would highly advise people to think of what's possible, what's possible now for every individual. When you start getting into 10 and 25 years, I would say this: I think that AI is going to change what I guess it's been like decades, if not a century, of media being thought of as different sort of siloed things, as in like, here's films and TV, here are games, here are immersive experiences, here's new media, right? They're all in these different buckets, and they've been in different buckets for a very long time, many years, because of the ways that they're made and the way that they're presented, right? They just have to be separated. But what I think is going to happen within 10 years is that they're all going to come together and be one, potentially could be one unified media type. And what I mean by that is that I really believe because of AI, at some point you will be able to watch a movie, and if you choose, you can say, turn editing off movie. Now there's no bounds, right? There's no editorial bounds like that or not. Now you can explore. Now you can walk out of the movie into the world of the movie, start interacting and playing inside that world. It's the thing that people have talked about and speculated about, but I really think within 10 years you're going to see like a multimodal media, a new medium occur that allows all of it to be in one. And these walking out the side of a movie scene, out the side of a scene with characters, the entire world will potentially be invented and generated on the fly based on where you want to explore. These things are in development now. We're at the beginning. I think the things that are in development now will upend and change game engines and gaming forever as well. So within 10 years, I can't even say what the exact experience we'll be having, but media itself will change. And then 25 years, I think, wow, that's way out there. I think that our kids are on spaceships, our kids are partying on Mars.
It's fun because it's like closing the cycle, because what you are defining right now is the matrix. It's like you get into the media, you play, you can go wherever you want. That's exactly
and so for that reason, okay, so I'll just leave off by saying the best part of my life is being outside with my children doing simple things. It really is.
That's very true.
Make plant a seed, take a walk, feel what it's the air, the breeze is on your face, right? Have a joyful moment. That is the
Are
most
you
important.
100% sure that this is real?
I am.
You never know.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Okay. So just to wrap it up, do you have one dream project that you have not yet realized that you would like to do?
Gee whiz. Yeah, there are. A project that I have on my mind recently is, I think we're close to being able to build the construct. In the Matrix, there's these scenes where in the white space, where like anything you will or desire is built around you, and then you can go jump in and participate. I think that's coming. I think that could be built within 5 years.
Only 5 years?
Literally.
But what would be the interface for that? Like gloves and
well, if you really want to be inside, it's some form of goggles, yes. Within 5 years. Within 25 years, it could be like a chip in your head.
Yeah. Chip in your head. Wow. The future is looking promising.
Laugh. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but it'll be a thing. It'll be a thing.
Yeah, sure.
It'll be the new punk.
Okay, so I think it's everything. I don't know if we have time left to jump into the audience, if they have some questions. No veo nada con la luz. Sí que hay unas cuantas. No sé, ¿hay un micrófono? ¿Alguien nos puede dar un micrófono, por favor? ¿Podéis bajar un pelín las luces? Que nos estamos... Sí. No hay nadie.
All right, we're good.
Pero digo un micro. No, bueno, pues empezamos por orden. Tú, que vas a tener que gritar.
Vale, me gustaría preguntar a John, conceptualmente y a nivel de trabajo, ¿cuál ha sido el mayor desafío y el trabajo que mayor trabajo más le ha costado?
Are you getting... No.
Oh, no, it's not.
Oh, it's
really
broken.
working.
So he's asking about your biggest challenge all over your career.
The biggest challenge?
Yeah.
Well, my family was sitting back there before, and they just left. So the biggest challenge is, I think, honestly, is work-life balance and
That's true.
I think that if you work in entertainment, you actually make a lot of sacrifices for you and for your family. So I honestly think, because as I get older, the most important thing is to be surrounded by people you love and to have had all of the right experiences leading up and all through your life. So the biggest challenge actually has been being able to balance, right, pouring yourself into your career in art. This is true for everybody anyway, right? Like just pouring yourself into your career and having enough balance for the people that you love.
Good answer. Tú. No sé cómo vamos de tiempo. No sé si hay alguien que me pueda decir si podemos estar un rato o...
Here. Mind-blowing stuff, John. Thanks. I'm here. Right side? Right?
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing stuff, thanks. I was wondering, was the script of Metropolis written with AI or by AI or by a human?
Human being. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you.
¿Da tiempo a una más? ¿Una? ¿Ni una? Una. Venga, pues... El primero que se levante.
Hola.
Ese.
I don't have the mic.
Hello, John. Nice to meet you. It's a real honor. La pregunta la voy a hacer en castellano. Después de haber hecho, y perdona que vuelva a Matrix otra vez, pero después del éxito que supuso Matrix, no solamente a nivel comercial, sino sobre todo a nivel visual, que ahí estabas tú, ¿cómo te sentiste cuando viste que los efectos que habías creado para esa película eran tan absolutamente imitados y que crearon escuela, ¿no? Porque pienso que las películas de superhéroes que vinieron poco después de Matrix, si no es por Matrix, no serían como son. Y el origen está en tu trabajo. ¿Cómo te sientes tú como autor, como artista, al ver tanta influencia?
I only know about this because people say that. Of course, I mean, nothing is, okay, unless maybe you're inventing the telephone and suddenly you're like, what, hello, right? And you're like, oh, we happened upon an accident. Everything that happened for the Matrix and everything that happened afterwards was actually the product of many people thinking around the world in little elements that, we were able to focus into an objective for a movie. And I think that everything that happened after Matrix is people who just like painting. It's like, I saw a painting, I was inspired by this, I decided to do it differently, but I was inspired by this. And so on it goes, and on it goes, right? So it's of course wonderful to see people keep evolving and developing the technique. But, honestly, the kinds of stuff that we were working on, if it wasn't for people before us and people inside of universities and labs working on similar things, and if it wasn't for the work that's been done in the last 20, 25 years, we wouldn't have what's about to happen to all of us, which is like a whole new medium that you can't even begin to imagine, right? This sort of spatial volumetric entertainment of a kind you can, I just imagine, will be unlike anything we've experienced before, and it won't be built by me. It'll be built by people who worked on the ones before and the ones before and the ones before. So I'm just part of that, just part of the timeline.
Bueno, pues estamos muy fuera de tiempo.
We are out of time. So.
Thanks.
Muchas